Blog Talk Radio.
Peace, family, and welcome to the Super Conscious Outlet. I am your host, Coach Shauna Quayle, and today we are joined by two amazing leaders in our community, God King Grasshop and Sister Goddess Kateria Knowles. Grasshop is one of our profound lecturers in the greater Los Angeles area. He is known as the African motivational teacher and also the hip-hop public speaker. And Goddess Queen Kateria Knowles is not only an influential young goddess in my life, but she is a profound leader, and she's all about enlightening and inspiring young women that she comes in contact with, while also being the founder of the Return of the Gods and the Black Family Reunion. Today, family, we have a very controversial and interesting topic we'll be discussing. We have been told that our lives are a reflection of the questions that we ask. So today we will be asking, are we God? But before we do that, let's give a shout out to our supporters.
Check out the radio station's fan page found at facebook.com/Universal Radio and the number 2. Also check out our fan page, the Let's Talk About It fan page. Go click that like button and check out our archive shows at facebook.com/Let's Talk About It and the number 8, and that's LETSTALKA, B as in boy, OUTIT, and the number 8. Our sponsors, My Sistar's Keeper, a site that inspires sisterhood and breaking down stereotypes about women of color. And they also have uplifting quotes and messages. And they're found at facebook.com/My Sistar's Keeper, and that's MySistarSkeeper. J. Allen's Black Be Life, a site that displays positive black images, jokes, quotes, and health tips, and they're found at facebook.com/blackbelike and the number 1. He also has his own blog talk radio show on the same station, Universal Radio. Check out his fan page at facebook.com/The J. Allen Show. Amin-Ra Darby, he's a author of children's books, as well as the latest street drama, Cultivated Mentality. So go ahead and purchase that now on hard copy or ebook, and it's found at www.aminradarby.com. Devon Allen's Reshape the People. He is a fitness guru as well as a meal planning coach, and you can check him out from the East Coast to the West Coast. He can help you out. Contact him at 310-438-0154 and email him at dthings1236@aol.com. Sister Girl Liz Rebecca, the Getting It In show. She has her own blog talk radio show. It's on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Her Facebook fan page is facebook.com/The Getting It In Show. Imara is a non-profit organization for the empowerment of women, and they're found at facebook.com/IMARA100. And last but not least is Strictly for My Niggas, a site that displays African and Black history and current events in the Black community. And they're found at facebook.com/strictly4, and that's FOR, niggas, and that's NEGUS.
Well, welcome back, family, to the Super Conscious Outlet. Let's really dig deep on this topic tonight. I know that it's a controversial topic, and for those of us who are not already at that level consciously of recognizing our God, so it may be hard to swallow right away. So, let's be delicate. Let's do this with an open heart and open mind, and let's just work on elevating together. Grasshop, are you with us?
Indeed, I'm here.
Okay. Sister Goddess Kateria Knowles, are you with us?
Ashe, I am.
Oh, good. I wanted to start with you, Sister Goddess Kateria Knowles. You're such a profound leader in our community, and I've seen your acts. I've seen the things that you do for young women that you come in contact with, and just for the Black community, period. I want to ask you what your take is. Are we God?
Thank you, Sister Goddess Koshana, as you are a huge inspiration within my own life. But to answer the question, yes, we are God. When you talk about God, you're talking about an aspect of the Creator, the aspect of the Creator that gives forth life, and that is what we do. We co-create along with the Creator, and we bring forth life. We have children, we have babies, and we create things here on the planet. And when you think about God and what God does, we say that God is good and God blesses us. But when you pray to God and you ask for a blessing, it's not some mystical man that falls out the sky like, well, I am here now, and here is your blessing. No. Your blessings are brought to you and given unto you from your fellow man. And so we do the works of God. If we're doing the works of God, well, the question is, aren't we God? Yes, indeed we are.
Ashe, I agree with that 100%. Like you said, there is no God in the sky that floats down and comes out of nowhere and just bemours you or blesses you with whatever you prayed for. It is always done through some human act or in some manner or form coming from each other. Brother Guy Grasshop, how are you today?
I'm Blacknificent. How about yourself?
I am wonderful. I'm so happy to have you on the show with us tonight and to share your insight. And just as I asked the goddess Queen Kateria Knowles, I want to ask you, are we God or God?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm going to answer that question philosophically and then answer it practically. First of all, I am truly convinced that there is a power outside of us that is greater than us. I was taught by my spiritual father, Bob Arcavi, the 5 stages of prayer and meditation. And one of those stages or steps is to recognize that there is a stronger force out there in the universe that is greater than we are. But I'm also very convinced in my life that I am a direct link to that sovereign force that is outside of us. So within my life, the process of developing and manifesting great things in this physical expression of living as a spiritual being, my objective is to do all I can to connect, to become, and to be attached to that micro universe and align it with the macro universe that is within me and accomplish great things in this physical, spiritual, mental expression of living on this earth plane. So to answer your question, without a doubt and emphatically, yes, we are God.
That's amazing. When you speak of an energy outside of ourselves and it's being powerful, more powerful, it makes me think of the analogy of the ocean. And the ocean, it being a very large and powerful body of water. But if you take a cup of water, you take a cup and you scoop up a cup of that ocean water, it is still an ocean water, even though it's no longer in that great, big, huge body that's big and large and has a lot of power. So for us, we're like that cup. We're like the sun rays are to the sun. Although we are not necessarily just the sun, which is a very powerful force, we are the sun rays that are coming from the sun, which we are the sun also. Just like the cup of ocean water, although it's no longer as forceful or as powerful as it was as a big, huge ocean, it is still ocean water. So I think that when we think of that force outside of ourselves, we must understand that we are still a direct, like you said, a direct connection or a direct reflection of that force outside of ourselves. And in many ways, we do have the similar powers that that force has. And we'll get deeper into that. I wanted to ask you both, and you can go first, Grasshopper, if you don't mind. When in your life experience did you start to realize that you were connected to a force, an energy, that it wasn't just outside of you, but that it was also inside of you?
Okay, to answer that question, I can't really answer it in days, because to be honest with you, I really don't remember. it has been an ongoing endeavor in this process of me recognizing that I am a divine expression of that one sovereign spirit. So, in retrospect, my contingent, once again, with me maximizing all the potential, the gifts and capabilities that the one sovereign spirit has deposited and entrusted within me, is to continue to work on being the greatest unter or God in this spiritual, physical expression that I can be. As you touched on, the sun and certain different elements that may reside to an extent outside of us. The sun, we need the sun in order to exist. But if we get too close to the sun, we'll melt away. So the thing is, though, when I'm recognizing that I am a divine expression of the Most High, that I am in sync with that one sovereign spirit, is to know my position to where unter or that one sovereign spirit has ordained for me to do in this lifetime on this earth plane. To every being, every entity that is existing in this world has its proper place, whether that's feminine energy, whether it be masculine energy, whether it be a tree, whether it be animals, all encompassed to having their place, their position, and their objective to make great wonders in this, once again, physical expression of living. So to answer your question, when I recognized that I was unter, that I was God, today I recognized it. Yesterday I recognized it. And every day I'm going to build on recognizing it more and more to be that one sovereign spirit and to be unter in the flesh, the best of my capabilities. So I recognize I was a God this morning.
Oh, that's beautiful and powerful. We're going to take a caller real quick, and then I'll ask you the same question, Goddess Kateria. Caller 0461, are you on the line with us? Caller 0461, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hello. How are you, Goddess? I can hear you. How are you?
I'm outstanding. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. So did you want to share your insights on the subject, Are We God?
I sure do. I absolutely love the topic because it brings a pause in many people, because to think that you are God, they have this notion as to what God is, and to really know God and be of God, you can understand it, and it's not like an egotistical type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can see blessings all around you and realize that you're a supreme being. And when you understand energy and understand where we really come from and where you're going back to, it's not, your physical body. We're all connected.
Right.
And just opening up this door to talk about this so people can start to realize their own God power within, I think is going to do a whole lot for the conscious community as well as the people around us, so that they can start to realize their own power.
Right. For me, when I thought about the topic, I was thinking, once I realized, once I went through my awakening, and real quick, turn your speakers down so there's no feedback. There's no feedback from your computer. But once I went through my awakening, the hardest thing for me to get was that we were God. I couldn't understand it for the life of me, because I was always taught to think of God as some type of deity outside of myself, that was a stern judge, that was a jealous God, that existed somewhere on a cloud somewhere, floating, things of that nature. And the idea that this God concept of the Creator dwelled within my own being, that I didn't have to look outside myself to connect to God, and that all I had to do was look in the mirror to find God. It was, for me, it was very hard. It was very, very hard to accept. But as you go through this conscious shift, and you start to not only look at the biblical references or even ancient Kemetic texts or Buddha texts or any other text, when you just start to open your own eyes and look at where you exist. Look at our existence as it is right now. The fact that we are floating on a ball in the middle of a galaxy, in the middle of a universe, the fact that we are these beings that have the ability to create our own reality, these are things that lead you to understand that you definitely are God. If God is the creator, you have the ability to create worlds, you, yourself. And I think for a lot of people, until they get to that level of understanding that connection, and it's not an ego God, like you said, because we've been taught of a jealous ego God, and it was we they say man has made God in our own image. We started to give God characteristics that were not of God. God is energy. God is consciousness expanded, and we are all consciousness. So when we understand how we too are that consciousness, and that we are the actual manifestation or physical example of what God is, then we can really truly tap into our abilities to create. So I thank you so much, Goddess, for calling in and sharing that insight, because you are exactly right. There is no ego God. That's the God that we are so confused. Well, how am I God? Because God is only, God is able to do this, and God is able. Well, God is a part of every single thing you see. The tree is God, because the tree gives you life. The air, the water, all of these things are the elements and essences of God, and you are a part of those elements. You, too, are a part of that amazing creation. So we thank you for calling in. We have one more caller we're going to take in, and the Sister Goddess Kateria. I want to ask you the same question. Caller 3965, are you with us?
Y'all gonna burn in hell. No, I'm just kidding. Hello there, sister. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And that is really what everybody's thinking. Hi, Tasha. How are you, sis? Y'all gonna burn in hell.
I am well. I know, right?
You're gonna strike me down now. I'm already ducking.
Y'all gonna burn in hell. Y'all gonna burn in hell. No. That is so funny. I just had to say that because during my awakening, finding out certain truths and trying to understand the concept of God, I just couldn't understand it. I was like, wait a minute, that's just so vain to say. Hey, well, you think you God, you created this, but like you all were saying, we're part of this divine way of life right now. We came down through these 7 layers of the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We create life. We give life. We nurture. We're one with it. It's just like the universe having a pancreas or a stomach. We're part of that. So if we're part of that, we're it. You know what I mean? We're it. If we're part of God, we're God. And it's just, we're made up these stardust and different particles put together and brought here to identify who we are on this planet. We came down here just to. It's like flexing a muscle. You're weak, but then you have to build yourself back up to this level. We're locked down on this 4th dimension right now. God don't like down, but we're returning back again to our state of divinity. We might not see it in this lifetime, but our children's children will, us returning back to that divine state of being.
Right.
So this is the turnaround point right now. You know what I mean? This is the awakening that's needed to, go back to our greatness.
Yeah, exactly. You said it so profoundly. I hope that didn't fall on deaf ears. That is exactly what it is. Like you said, we're stardust. And when we say awakening, you think about it, it's like we really were asleep. It's like we really have amnesia, and when we're like, okay, I'm waking up, we're waking up. When you start to put the puzzle together, first you find Kemetic science, you find out about the Dogon, and, you find out that your ancestors were all these great beings. But as you start to put that puzzle together, you get this great picture, and that picture is all saying the same thing. You are God. That there's never been this look for it outside yourself. Everything outside is just to show you what you really are. It's only a reflection of what you are.
It is a privilege to be a part of this this society right now, this awakening. It's a privilege. You know how good it is to have these understandings of self and knowledge, and like I'm a person like that. Who me? You know what I mean? So I feel like privileged and blessed by the ancestors. Like, wow, I know this is true. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to share, but sometimes you can't waste your time on a lot of people. We ain't gonna, as the Bible would say, cast our pearls to the swine, but we all kind of know what that means. We can take that as thank you for the inspiration, but we're gonna find our own path. But we have to give to people that's prepared for this.
Right.
This is a sacred gift. Mm-hmm.
You are so true when you say that this is a privilege. This is the most amazing existence. When you really understand that you come from this universe and you manifest here, you can understand why you chose this time. Like, we chose to be here at this moment in time so that we can ride this ride, so that we could have this amazing experience of awakening. I mean, of all of a sudden realizing you can really move mountains. I get high off of just being here. I wake up in the morning and I look at the sun and I'm like, I'm a part of that? You mean to tell me that that's about, this has something to do with me, that the sun and the stars, it has something to do with me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sister, it is so profound. Goddess Kateria,
look, check this out. The sun is there to serve you. The sun is there to serve you. You know what I mean?
All of these things, right.
That's a gift.
Yes. All of these things conspiring for your good. That's how I say, we must be God. Because this whole existence is created for us to be here, to sustain our lives. How powerful were we as a being that we manifested this amazing world to sustain our own existence?
Indeed.
Goddess Kateria, or God King Grasshopper, would you like to share on that too?
I'll chime in. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to chime in on what Queen Sister Tasha said was talking about as far as awakening. Myself, I was brought up in a religion, and it's not to spit venom in anybody's belief system or religion or preference, but I was brought up in a religion where you're supposed to become very subservient to a creative force outside of you, And when I got awakened into the African culture community, I've seen the advantages from a physical perspective. I've seen the revolutionary philosophical points of views and, all the other militancies that come along with being awakened and having a high level of race consciousness. But what really galvanized and really gathered my soul was the fact that when I recognized that I was the person that I was praying to, and when I really started to subscribe to that I was a divine expression of the Most High, that I don't have to start pointing fingers, or I don't have to give credit to something outside of me. When I knew that I was a God, when I knew that I was nature, it puts all the responsibility on me. I can't blame nobody. The devil didn't make me do it. The good and the bad, when I had triumphs, and even when I may have missed the mark, it all relies on me. And that's been one of the greatest lessons that I've taken from being awakened in the African culture conscious community, is the fact that when I say I am who I pray to, who I meditate to, then I take the good with the bad, the triumphs, and when I might have made a mistake. So that's one of the main things I've learned when I've got into this African culture community, is knowing that I'm a God, I take full responsibility, and I put the blame on anyone else. It's all on me. And that's what gods or goddess do.
Can I chime in on that too? Can I chime in on that too? Like King Grasshopper was saying, I came up in a Christian. Well, not really. My home wasn't Christian. My grandmother didn't feel like taking me to church, so she sent me down the street. My grandmother was like, she kind of knew what time it was, but she just was like, she didn't want to go to church. She always kind of made fun of the preachers and stuff, but she did kind of want to represent that, she wasn't like what they would consider bad. So she sent me to church, and I grew powerful in the church. I mean, I was laying hands on folks, anointing people. I'm a nurse. I done put people to sleep as well as wake them up. So I found it really hard to say that power couldn't have been me. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I couldn't have sent that person to a divine place, or I was like, how did that happen? Jesus had to get in me to do those things, because I know what I did. I know what I did in the dark. You know what I'm saying? So it was really hard, but to understand that, my hands were chosen. Just like my voice is chosen. Just like, I didn't know. Right. So when I really wanted to do it, I just had to use what I knew at the time. So if it was calling that Jesus name, to call my higher self, because my higher self like, okay, well, if you want to use Jesus, then hey. You know what I mean? So when I did that, that just showed Will. And Will was Tahuti. You see what I'm saying? So Will came in and, they have forgiveness over our ignorance. Right, you see what I'm saying? They have forgiveness over that, and they manifest and they show up in our hands, and they give us strength. And so, but that was the hardest thing. Like, I would really go around blessing people. I could, like, if somebody was dying, their family members would be around saying, oh, Grandma, don't die. And they just, the grandmother's laying there like, please let me go. And I had to close the door and be like, close your eyes and go ahead and leave this place. You know what I mean? They gone. You know what I mean? Wow. So when to see certain powers like that, you gotta, I felt I had to put it on something else. But that was me, and I was connected with this other entity, and we had an assignment.
Right. And the entity,
so
the energy.
I want to know, some people are just chosen for things as well. I mean, I know you all are chosen. We all got connected on a divine level. I can sit back and I see the pattern of how things happen. Like, okay, I met my husband. He brought me to Kateria and her sister, and then Grasshopper happened to be at Crash Center. Quaylee was there. She put the poetry down. I could see how it came together. So that's Godism, too. Being able to identify patterns. Like, wow, okay, I see. You know what I mean? So that's just, this is just amazing. I'm loving this journey, and I'm learning so much.
I love it. And recognizing that we're co-creators is the most amazing part of this experience also. I love that. Goddess Kateria, did you want to chime in?
Yes. Well, I wanted to answer the question as far as when did I realize within my own life that I was God and I was, creating my reality or co-creating my reality. And, yes, I do fully recognize that within my life, but as Grasshopper was saying, it's each day, each moment of the day, every moment that I wake up, I am reminded of it. And more and more as the days go on, am I reminded of it as far as, when a certain situation happens, I can tune into my frequency, whether it be good or bad, and I realize what I am attracting or what I'm bringing forth within my own life. And I can say that practice alone has given me more of a sight into my godship. For instance, I could be at home and Bianca and Moses, my children, they could have their room a mess, and I can get really upset and clean up this and that, or just be upset. And with that being said, I'll burn the food that I'm making, or another negative thing would happen. I'm just creating off of that frequency alone. But if I'm okay, I'm chill, calm, I'm poised, they'll naturally clean up. The room will be clean, food won't be burnt, and we'll all just have a happy rest of our day. So, really, God is a frequency that is within you, and you have to tune to that frequency. It's the nine ether energy that is within you. Just as far as the lower energy, the ego, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call it, that also dwells within us. And it's all up to us what side we're going to choose, which face we're going to put on for that day, for that moment. And to be honest, when you take things astrologically, we're in a 12,000-year circle of God's energy. That's why you see more people waking up to being beings of good and doing acts of good and being beings of love. And that's what God represents. God represents love. God represents things of goodness, and as well as the feminine energy of the cosmos. And that's why you see the black goddess waking up, or you hear statements like the black woman is God. And in this past 12,000-year cycle, men have been ruling, and it has been a patriarchal system where women have been tarnished, and the whole image of women and womanhood has been silenced and tarnished. And so But now we're waking up and coming into a matriarchal system, but more of an egalitarian system where the rise of the black king and queen are to come together on the throne and represent that love energy, which that is the energy of God. But when I realized that I was God myself, I had my spiritual awakening. I've always been, pretty conscious and aware of certain things. When I was a little girl, my mom would read the Bible to us, and I would ask her to read the Bible to us because I always thought I was Jesus. But I'm like, tell me more stories about my past life. Yay!
Right.
But in 2011, when I had my spiritual awakening, I went through a major shift. I knew that I was changing. I knew something was coming over me. I could just feel it at the beginning of the year. I actually threw an alter ego birthday party because I knew I wasn't going to be into doing things of that nature pretty soon. Like, I dressed up as a vampire. I ate a bunch of cupcakes, and I was just doing all kind of things. I was turning 24. And so I told all my friends, I'm getting everything out of my system because I can feel a change coming. I partied. I did all these things. But then come August the 3rd, 2011, let me back up a little bit. I'll say about August or late July, an energy came over me. I told my sister, Sarah Bianca, that there's a change coming, something's about to change within me. And I had stopped eating. I had her come down from L.A. and help me go to a vegan diet and everything. She was already raw vegan and all that. So I started eating healthier, and once I was eating better, my mind became more clear. My energy became more clear. I wasn't having, all of those poisons blocking my mind. And so when I started consuming in this fast, and naturally I just started fasting. I fasted for 7 days, and this energy came over me where I was having all of these premonitions, and I could just see all of these different things and feel this different energy. I was just calling things out like red car, this and this and that, Ultima, and an alarm would just go off. And I was sitting down on the carpet with my sister. It was one night because my awakening lasted for 7 days. And I would say about the fourth night, my sister and I and a friend of ours named David, we were sitting in my living room, and we were talking about God, God's energy, and my spiritual awakening overall because it was a really crazy experience. I just started seeing all these symbols in my home. It was. I know you've been through it, Sister Koshana.
Yeah, mine was
beautiful. And so while we're sitting in the living room, I'm talking to them, and David is sitting right next to me, and he has a bowl of sage, and this bowl is shaped in a heart, a glass bowl shaped into a heart. And we're burning the sage, and he's blowing into it as me and Siddha are conversing about how we create things in our lives, this and that. And he keeps blowing and blowing, and it's like the flame is getting bigger and growing, and me and Siddha turn to him, and we say at the same time, stop, it's going to blow. And it burst and it went everywhere. The flames went all over the carpet. It went all over him and went all over us. We're like, oh, whoa. So we all jumped up, tried to clean it up. But when it came to, the only thing that was burned was these markings on the carpet. My area where it got burned, and one spot on him got burned, and it was burned directly in his belly button. And it was a star, a perfect star. I still have the shirt to this day.
I see.
And we all, you've seen it. And we all yelled, the Star of David. And his name is David. And the Star of David is the representation of the masculine and the feminine energy coming together, the two pyramids, the microcosm and the macrocosm. And so we're like, at the same time, we're all like, you should give it to Kateria. We all said it at the same time. And but I said, you should give it to me. And so at that moment, I could tell that something was definitely taking a shift within me. And so a couple of months after that, I was laid down on my bed. I couldn't move. I was like in a trance, you can say, and I was having a vision. And this is the vision that told me to do the Real Family Reunion, Return of the Gods, bring our people together. It is time for us to rise up. I was given the vision of the black cat versus the white dog and the wolf and the dog, and how those are polar opposites, and how in the white man's world, which we have been currently living in, they praise the dog and they, tarnish the black cat. Oh, it's evil. Don't look at it. If you look at it, that's bad luck for you, so on and so forth. But in ancient Egypt, that was our spirituality, the black cat. The black cats are they're guardians to our soul. They say if you go to sleep at night and you astral project or what have you, because we all do it consciously or unconsciously, a cat will protect your soul to make sure no other entity comes in but you. And so I was given all of this knowledge, all of this information, just it was like swirling through my mind. I promise you, I didn't read any books. Didn't know anything about Ptah at this time or anything, but I had a diary when I was 16 years old named Ptah, and it was all about the spoken word, the truth. And I didn't find out about Ptah, Ma'at, or any of our ancient deities until 2011. So it was so raw. It was so raw for me because I was connected to these entities within me naturally from birth, and my mom tried to shut it down within me. So while I'm having this vision to do Return to the Gods, it was just showing me to be at a park, and we're all going to be dressed in white, and we're all going to be levitating, and it was the black king and queen to our highest grade of good. And at the time, I was just collecting food stamps, going to the local community college with my 2 children, and I'm like, how can I do this? And the 4 gods told me, because there was 4 deities that came to me, they said, do not question this. This is your job. This is your duty. And no matter what obstacles that are in front of you, you go forward, and this shall be done, and it will be done. And so I couldn't go off of any doubt. At that time, I had no doubt. I had no fear. I just did exactly what I was told. But also in the vision, a voice was speaking to me, and it was speaking really fast, but it was speaking in like the same kind of text that you would read the Bible in, like, thou, thy child, shalt not, this and that. And so it was saying, look to thine letters of thine names, not to thine first initials of thy names. Look to thy last initial of each name. And so my full name from birth is Tiffany Kateria Manning, being spelled Tiffany being spelled Tiffany, Kateria being spelled Kateria, Manning Manning. But when you take Tiffany Tiffany, you take the last letter, because that's what the voice said. Take the last letter of each name. The last letter of Tiffany is Y. The last letter of Kateria is A. The last letter of Manning is G. It said you are God. It said
wow.
Yes, it said you Aquarius. You, Aquarius God, you are God, and I'm blown away. And so then it said, thou changest thy name. And when I was 14, I changed the spelling of Tiffany to Typhani. And it said, when I changed the spelling of my name, that's when I was already awakening, and I was already going through a lot in my life, period. And so I changed my initials to changed my spelling to Typhani. So the last letters are IAG, and that's when I realized I am God. It changed the whole entire saying. And so that woke. Yeah, and with that being said, it also stated my birthday being born. It said you were born on the day of the Alpha and the Omega. My birthday is January the 31st. I was born the first month of the last day. Yeah, so I went through a serious awakening. So I came out of that awakening. I am here. I have returned. It is time to save the family. But that was the moment that I realized that I was God, because the voice came and it told me and it showed me. And each step that I take in my life, like I said, God is a frequency that dwells within you, and it's all up to you to dwell upon and act upon that frequency, or act upon your lower nature. And every day you have to battle. There's a constant battle between the lower and higher nature. But I allow myself to succumb, or not succumb, but to surrender unto my subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls your heartbeat, controls your breathing, and controls all your other bodily functions that you are unaware of. But without the subconscious mind, you wouldn't be here. You would have no control. So when you surrender unto the subconscious mind that knows all that we must do anyways, you are tapped into that God energy, that God frequency, and all is well and all is in divine order. We are God.
Let me ask a question, Kateria. Okay, so what about a person, if they listening now, and they say, I've never encountered that kind of experience. I just happened to wake up and was conscious, because some people, I can feel where you're coming from, because when I left you guys, I was empowered. I felt that was being prepared for me. You know what I mean? I just felt like, I was alone, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die because I don't believe.
Day.
So when I got there, I was just looking eager. I even ran up on Quaylee like, I don't know, but I gotta say something to you, and we just started talking. So I can attest to that day. I understand that day. You know what I mean? So then I encountered Segment that week. Come on.
Wow.
So once I encountered, so I encountered her, but it's some people that probably say, okay, I didn't get that. They waking up to another way of consciousness. They may experience something saying, yeah, something going on in this government. Is there true consciousness? Do we wake up with deities and gods talking to us, pulling us out? Or is it just possible just to wake up?
You know what? Real quick on that one. I honestly, like you said, I've met people on every different level. And earlier you were saying how you're chosen and certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are coming here to be the teachers. And I think that's why things affect certain people a little differently. My awakening was very, very dramatic. I ended up in a mental hospital at the end of my week. They were sure I was crazy. And same thing. I had voices, a group of, and I know that they're ancestors now, that told me I was going to be a teacher, that I had to come back to California, and I wasn't teaching at that time. And now look at what I do. I'm a teacher. Told me everything told me there was going to be a black president. I started coloring my money black. People thought I was crazy. I was prophesying about the last 10 years of my life. And then I meet other people who kind of gradually shift into it. And what happens, what I think, too, is the more of us who've had the dramatic one, it's kind of made it a little easier for those who are just coming into it, because when we went through it, there was no one. When I had mine 10 years ago, no one for me to talk to. There wasn't this big conscious community, all these people on the Internet. There was no one. I was literally crazy. You know what I mean? So now when they're going through it now, they can tap into Facebook, and all of a sudden you meet 100 million people who are saying, oh, you're not crazy, that's normal. You want to go natural is normal. But like you said earlier, I do think some of us have that experience where the ancestors come into your life and they speak directly to you just as loud as we're talking to each other right now, and they are just as real as me and you are. But before we continue, guys, we have some other callers calling in. We want to take Goddess Mashayla in also. Thank you so much, Goddess Tasha, because your energy is always powerful. Like you were saying, our meeting at Return of Gods, I will always salute Goddess Kateria for following her message from the ancestors, because you and I both know that Return of the Gods event was so elevating. I did not come down for weeks. I was up on clouds. I will never forget that thing. So that was definitely a divine message, and everything that she was told to do, she followed, and it really did shift consciousness for both of us. I mean, for real.
It did.
So thank you, sis.
Thanks for calling in, beautiful goddess. I can't wait to build with you at the Black Family Reunion.
Ooh, I can't wait. It's going up. It's going up. I cannot wait.
It's going up. I love that.
To be live.
Yes. I love that. So let us welcome in now our goddess Mama Mashayla, who is a very powerful goddess, who has definitely been very influential in my life and has shown us what real true love is. So welcome in, Goddess Mashayla. Are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Absolutely. Thank you, and much just divine appreciation and gratitude for allowing for me to come in and share. And I know that you have a very limited time on the call, so I'll be very direct and as close to my statements as possible. I find it interesting in the awareness of God's self. I find it most like children as you come into consciousness that you are separate, that you're the entity in the mirror looking back at yourself. When a baby looks at that mirror image and says, "Oh my gosh, that's me," it discovers it's themselves. And then also the catalyst between the one this child who is looking at the parent walking, but cannot even conceive that it runs or that it has the ability to run. They don't even know what that means to run. They are still even trying to put together the full concept to crawl, to move forward, and using those motor skills. And yes, they can see the parent walk, but running is something that is so foreign. Matter of fact, if you run up on a baby, they are startled immediately or immediately cry because you have disappeared. It is something that is so beyond the concept. And that is what I find what happens in the one that begins to cross over in the awakening. And this shift actually is a 26, at the round of it, let me just say it this way, at the round of it is a 26,000 year shift. Every cycle. The cycle is at 26,000 years. So we're going to say somewhere 25,962, something like that, or it could be 25,562, just depending on what calendar or from what procession that you're using. However, there was a catalyst that happened at 2012 where the shift now created what some may say the breaking down of the walls, or if you wanted to say this Armageddon sort of personal great tribulation into the Armageddon, and then now the resurrection of consciousness. And that is where the shift, and so the world is literally shifting. And there are people that are still stuck in a very Latin lower monad paradigm, which that is the 3D world of aggression, power, hungry, ego-based thought process, and still relying on others instead of now the other shift where this is the God extension of self and recognizing that we are God. You are God. You are within that, and you are the representation of God in every aspect. And so I find it interesting in the native culture, it is called the Great Creator or the Great Spirit, called Wakantaka. And even in this, it is the great mystery, this one who is believed to give man everything that he has, where to go, how to carry his food, give us seeds to plant and harvest. However, the Blackfoot, which is my native family, they call that Great Spirit Old Man. And so that is the clue. It is the man. It is the you that you are, the divine you. And we all make up a piece or a cosmic connection to this divine source, as there is the heart that functions separately but yet is still pumping blood through every single aspect of your body that makes it move, that supplies oxygen. And then the nervous system, all of it is separate and yet all the same. And so likewise, yes, you are God. So when you have fear, that a religious fear that's out there and says, no, that's blasphemy. You cannot be God.
Right.
Why can I be? I am God. Right. I am that of which is causing things to transform. I created either my world of fear or I created my world of abundant prosperity. Either way, I'm creating. And so to wake up to that fact is that conscious awareness that you have been sparked alive. That is your resurrection. You were dropped down here literally like the living dead. You were dropped and you had to wait to sprout. And enough water or enough instances were nurturing you for you to sprout out. And so I find it very interesting when people are very judgmental, and they start ridiculing groups of people or saying, "Oh, they're just humans," or "We're gods and they are not." That's why they can't understand. Even that is such an egoistic statement. It is what it is. We all enjoy, and we all are coming into our awarenesses and recognizing the empowerment, the power that we have within. And so, my shift happened in 2003, and then fell asleep again. I mean, it happens because we're not ready, and there are some people that just you go dormant for a while because you may not be ready. And so, likewise, your experiences begin to support your knowing how beautiful this world is and that you are making that shift to that 5D world, that world that truly is peace. And then all those people in your world are all peaceful. They're all productive.
Right. They are.
Yeah, every single last one of them. Anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to come on. I wanted to thank you again.
Oh, thank you for coming on, and everything that you were saying was truly profound. God King Grasshopper, Goddess Kateria.
Yes, thank you, Goddess Mama Michelle.
Yes.
Indeed.
One of the things that you were touching on, the cycles, the 26,000-year cycles. Could you talk about that just a little bit further for the listeners so that we can understand about the cycles that we go through in this universe and how, we came out of one and we're going into one and how that's working? You and Goddess Kateria were both speaking on that. Whichever one of you who wanted to share more information on that, I would love that.
Oh, great. It's fine. Either one. I know that Kateria, she has beautiful insight, and she speaks about the will of astrology. And it's really, the 26,000-year cycle is really interesting because that would have to mean that the person is really recognizing that they've been part of that cycle. Some of us, and I'm just going to say it that way, have actually had to redo their life cycles. And they've been here 3 or 4 life cycles. So we're talking about 75,000 years. You've come through and not gotten a lesson or not gotten an experience, and you stay within that karmic will. And so the reality is that awakening or that shift, every single time there's a connection or a spark that allows you an open channel to jump the will. And that's the way I say it, jump the karmic will, so that you can actually wake up. It's your trigger. And so in this case, based on one Mayan calendar, it was December 21st, 2012, where that shift as a large, complete whole was taking place. However, that was the age, the Piscean age is clearing, and the age of Aquarius is coming into effect. And let me say this, even that age of Aquarius is still off by about 126 years. So now what's happening is you're still seeing the cycle of negativity, the tail end of it, at the tail end of the Piscean cycle, into the Aquarius awareness, however work or the gearing up for that, so that as that fully is embarked, it will be fully realized in at the Aquarian cycle, or the fullest, let me say it this way, bloom, the fullest bloom, or the middle of that cycle of the Aquarian cycle. And so at December 21st, 2012, that was one cycle that ended and embarked another one. And then another cycle, which is actually 26,900, let me get this correct because I don't want to misquote it and then someone says, well, I don't get that. So 25,920 years. That one is a cycle of 2,160 years each. And so therefore that would show us moving into different ages on the astrological wheel. And that's just the I guess the technical stuff. If people wanted to know where's the technicality of that. And you can put that in your Google, making it easy. Put 26,000 year cycle. That's probably your easiest find, and you're going to find tons of stuff on it.
Wow, I think that's profound, just understanding it. And it's so amazing. It sounds like we're evolving back to how our ancestors used to think. Our ancestors understood thousands of years of this universe. They didn't just know the last decade or the last 25 years. They were so in tune. They knew that the star would come around every so many thousands of years, and this would happen. And I'm loving that we're waking back up to that knowledge and that knowing. And even though we really did go into a slumber, I still know that we are those same people. I don't believe that they were something and we're something different. And now we're able to get deeper and know our own story and know that we've been here for
Absolutely. We are the gods. We have returned to ourselves.
Yes. I think that's perfect. Thank you so much, Goddess Mama Michelle, for calling in and adding your energy. You are always enlightening. I'm so happy to have you as a part of our life and a part of our circles, just like Goddess Kateria and Tasha said we're speaking of earlier, learning why certain people are coming into your life. And when we elevate ourselves to not be judgmental, to not try to put each other in a certain category and just accept and love each other for what we do bring to each other's lives, we can see why we're all connecting. All of us are connecting for a reason. So I give thanks to your presence and your energy, and I thank you for calling in. We're going to get ready to go on a break shortly here. So, family, stay with us. We're going to go on our break, and we will be back in a few minutes. Welcome back, family, to the Super Conscious Outlet. Wow, I'm feeling elevated already. I'm enjoying all the callers who are calling in. My guest hosts, you guys are amazing. I know tonight's topic is one of those controversial topics, or it could be a very enlightening topic for those of us who are vibrating on this frequency. I want to welcome back our co-host. First, let's welcome back Goddess Kateria Knows, and also Brother God Grasshop. Before we get back into our topic, I did want to take in a few more of our callers. Jay Allen, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Peace, Brother God. How are you?
I'm great. I wanted to just say a few things real quick. I really love the answer that Grasshop gave when you asked him when did he recognize that he was God, and he said that's solidified for him pretty much every day. And I think that was just a great answer because, every day we continue to grow and learn different things. Now, I just want to say, we couldn't really have this show without me bringing up this topic. For those out there who do apply to the faith, as far as Christianity and things like that, we have to understand that the Bible is a great book. Once you learn how to interpret it the correct way, it's a book of us to try to achieve a higher consciousness. So I just want to take some key verses out of there to explain a few things real quick. Basically, in the Bible, you have Jesus. Basically, Jesus is telling the preachers that they have taken away the key of knowledge because they haven't entered into themselves, which is meditation. And he said that they have hindered anyone else who has tried to look within themselves. And that's in Luke 11:52, which reads, "Woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye you hindered." So basically what that is saying, that God is inside of you. Everything else outside of you is pretty much irrelevant. Now let's go down to Matthew 6:33, where it reads, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." So it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. It didn't say do that second, third, at the end of your day. It said that should be the first thing you do. It didn't say anything about go and join the choir. It didn't say go to Bible study on Wednesday. It said seek ye first the kingdom of God. So the next thing you should ask yourself, okay, well, what is the kingdom of God? Then we go down to Luke 17, chapter 21, and where it says the kingdom of God is within you. Woo! That's basically it. The kingdom of God is within you. And then we just touch on Psalms 82:6, which I'm pretty sure everybody on this phone is pretty much familiar with. I have said, ye are God. So we are God. We are definitely God.
Yes.
Kateria, you touched on a great point when you said, basically when we look into these things that are outside ourselves, God, Satan, it is so easy for us to shift responsibility onto something like that because everything that's good that happens in your life, you equate it to something outside of yourself, and everything that bad has happened to you, you equate it to Satan. So where does your personal responsibility lie? Most people that believe that, I'm not trying to be mean, but they don't really, there is no responsibility that lies upon themselves. When you start being awake, when you start realizing that you are responsible, and that was one of the hardest things that I had to adjust to in my awakening, was realizing that I went to my teacher and I said, well, man, if this person is not who I thought he was, then who do I depend on? And you know what he said? He said, you, yourself. And that was hard for me to digest. But once I did, you know what? I saw how powerful that I was, how much control I could take in regards to my own life. So it's a beautiful thing. I think you guys are doing a great topic, and I want everybody to know if you missed something, you can always go back and listen to this show or any of the other shows. There's a lot of good information that has been given in this show. So if you forget something, know that you can always log back on and you can listen and hear it again. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
That was profound. And one of the things that I was hearing when I was listening to all of you guys speak, I was thinking about the Bible and it being a metaphor for yourself completely. You have God and the devil, which is your higher self and your ego, and then you have Jesus, which is your Christ consciousness. And so the entire book is literally about you and what's going on within your own being. And so I think that's profound how you guys are breaking it down. It just clicked in my brain like, wait, where's all of these facets of the Bible and these characteristics? You even have the 12 disciples and Ludus or whoever turned against Jesus and denied him. That's that fear part of you that when someone tells you, oh, well, you're not a Christian, and you're like, oh, I still kind of, that's that part of us too. All of these things are what exist within our own spirit, our own energy. So I think that's profound. But let's take another caller in. Caller 8629. Are you with us? Caller 8629. Are you with us? Okay, we probably lost him or her. So let's continue. The second half of the show, I really wanted us to touch on how to tap into our God consciousness. Once you go through your awakening and you do realize that, hey, you have powers and you have the ability to create worlds, like you are that consciousness that can create worlds. And I think, Kateria, you spoke on it earlier of the subconscious mind and how it relates to creation. And realizing that it is the same energy raises the sun, it is the same energy that spins the earth around, it also pumps your heartbeat, it is the same energy that lives within you, and that's the same energy you're creating with. I wanted us to go deeper on that topic. God King Grasshop, let me ask you, and from your own understanding and from your own abilities, how do we tap into our God consciousness? How do we move from the victim stage where the devil is doing it to us, and this is making it happen to us, to where we are gods and we are making things happen for us? How do you think, what is a good way for our listeners to understand how to tap into that energy?
Well, there's a variety of ways that we can tap into, as you stated, activating the indwelling unter of our consciousness from within. One of the stages that I exercise in my daily life is to once again acknowledge that, first of all, I am a deity, and to start to get comfortable in accepting that I am a deity. One of the major examples or one of the major tools that I use in my everyday walks of life is the power of prayer. For those who have studied and listened to the great architect Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he had a breakdown for, I think, about 6 steps of prayer, like dealing with focus, concentration, communication, communication, visualization, and imagination. All of those encompass talking, developing a relationship, developing a rapport with that one sovereign spirit. So for me, once I recognize and gain more confidence and assurance through the steps of prayer, meditation, I can begin to activate my consciousness from within. So the beginning step is to recognizing that you are the sovereign spirit, and every day work on to really exercising and maximizing it to the best of your ability, prayer, meditation, and get in a place of silence where you can think and to gather your thoughts. And, it'll be an ongoing endeavor and a process to become the unter once you activate it.
Wow, that's definitely amazing because meditation is truly the key to tapping in for me also. Before we continue, let's take our next caller. Caller 2292, are you with us?
I'm Khalid Shakur, and I would like to add a comment to this discussion based on my interpretation through the periodic table of the elements, which can only lead back to Aten Ra.
Oh, please do. Please do. Welcome, Brother God.
God is the creator and ruler of the universe and the supreme being having power and moral authority over all things. And a goddess is a woman by his side who is so beautiful, brilliant, majestic, and wholesome that she is simply not like any other human being on earth. And therefore, she is in full possession of some sort of uncommon spiritual element that cannot be easily defined. But still in all, it is clearly present before us. From the day that I was born, I did my best to analyze society and to evaluate every piece of advice or information that I could gather from so many people that I respect and admire, although they all had slightly different points of view. I just weaved it all together in an attempt to reach a stable mind frame for myself and to achieve some form of solidarity and unity for black people. So what I can say to someone who is looking up to me as a guide, searching for an answer or some way of direction, just take the positive out of what I say. And so far as the things that you do not, necessarily agree with, just let it go and don't worry about it because, as it has been said before, I was raised in the society too, so there's no way that you can truly expect for someone to be a perfect person because we are always going to do what we're going to do, and that's the truth.
Right.
Hey, let me chime in. That's Brother Khalid Shakur.
Yeah, what's happening, G-Hop?
What's up with you, man? I like what you said. I like the way you broke it down with Aten Ra. You gave a piece there, man. And definitely seeing your growth, it's being the divine expression in this physical plane, this earth plane of living. And, I look for you to be at Craft next Saturday for another man that was deified as a hip-hop god, Tupac. You're going to be at Craft next Saturday. I look forward to seeing you there.
That's what's up. Hey, what's up, Kateria?
Greetings, Brother Khalid.
That's what's up. All right, G-Hop, I'll see you on the 14th.
All right, brother.
Indeed, see you there. Peace.
Amazing. Well, I definitely enjoyed his energy. We're going to take our next caller, caller 9654. Are you with us?
Absolutely. Blessings, Sister Queen Hotel.
Blessings. How are you, Brother God?
I'm blessed. This is a beautiful show, beautiful topic. I'm loving all the vibes. The positive energy is beautiful. This is my steer. You know what I'm saying? Blessings, Goddess Koshana, and I forget your name, Sister Queen, the calls. But I want to call in and say, yes, we are our own God. When I came into me knowing that I was my own God is when certain situations that I was faced with were because of my own actions. I brought that on to me. Did nobody around me, did nobody, put that on me because I made the decision to bring this situation. You know what I'm saying? And with that, and then like people say, this is deja vu. When it's not deja vu. We all wrote our own story. We all wrote our own story. So this deja vu is not no deja vu. This is what you have written in your story. This is what your life.
Wow.
This is what you have written. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I became. I knew I was like, I'm in control of this.
Right.
It ain't no, because I was raised as a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? My mom's and pops is a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So I knew it was within me. It didn't know, like I said, nobody is because of your own actions and what you do bring on your situation and whatever predicament that you're in. And that's nothing else but you creating your life. That's it. But, yeah, I just wanted to call in and chime in. This is beautiful. Sister Queens. Y'all doing a beautiful job.
Thank you so much. And what you just said about deja vu, wow, that just opened my eye even further. Because we always say, oh, you know, deja vu means we've been here before and all that. But like you said, that right there, because, you know, we all talk about how our awakenings are different. Some people have energies, you know, that they hear the ancestors. But we all experience deja vu.
Absolutely.
Everyone experiences deja vu. So that is truly powerful to really understand that that's because you wrote this out, so you recognize it. Wow. That was profound.
You said it perfect.
Right.
You wrote it, so that's how you recognize it, because you wrote it. That's why I said it's because of your actions. It's because of your actions wherever you are in life.
Right.
And whoever you have around me is because of what you are putting off.
Right.
So what we are putting off in this universe, the universe is just sending us back what we're putting off.
Right.
So it's all because of you. You wrote your story. It's not no deja vu. I did this. I wrote this. I just that lets you know that tells me right now where I'm at, that tells me that I know I'm on the right track. That's just a reminder. I'm on the right track. I'm going to keep pushing. Actually, I'm going to push harder.
Right. That is profound. That is truly profound. Hotel.
I don't want to take too much of y'all time, but y'all beautiful sister queens, y'all doing a beautiful job. I'm loving it. Hotel. I'm loving the show.
Thank you so much for calling in, Brother God.
Yes, thank you, Brother God. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was profound. We do have one more caller, you guys. Let's take caller 2454. Are you with us?
Yes, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hotep, peace. How are you?
Hotep, I'm good. I'm living. This is Brother Lamar calling in.
How are you, Brother God?
Great, absolutely great. I want to commend y'all on the show that y'all putting down tonight. This is a beautiful topic, and the expression and the energy on this show is just astounding. And everybody that's expressing themselves, like they all telling a truth that adds up to the truth. And this is what we all doing. We're building. There is no such thing as the truth outside of you, because we are the truth. There are only a truth outside of us. And we have to be able to combine these truths together to make the truth for ourselves.
Right.
And I appreciate what Brother Nasir just called in and said, you know, about deja vu and this being our story, as well as what Jay Allen mentioned about the Bible, how it's such a beautiful story if you know how to read it, and what the sister mentioned about the great year, the 26,000 year cycle. That's all. I really want to call in and touch on that one, because I want people to understand that everything outside of you is inside of you as an individual. And as long as we continue to separate self, being that we think that there's something outside and inside, outside is just a mirror of what's inside. And like he said, everybody that's around you in your world or in your life right now, this is energy that you are willing into your life. Nothing happens by mistake. There's nothing that's going on in our day-to-day by mistake. If it's good or bad, however it happened, it was what you wrote.
Right.
But the 26,000 year cycle, every time we see, everything is symbolism outside of ourselves, and we have to be able to convert that and process it back into self. That's what we're here for, to remember ourselves, to put ourselves back together, because we fell apart when we came here into the physical meaning. And every star that we see in the sky is nothing more than another being. So when we look in the sky and we say it's the universe is just one. But we are actually in a multiverse. There's a myriad of stars up there, which are the myriads of people that are down here. And we're all interacting and reflecting upon one another to show our greater and lesser potential.
Wow.
So the 26,000 years, when you look at the 3 zeros at the end on that 1,000, that's actually symbolic of the triple black mother, or the 3 spheres that make up your lower self in a physical form, which is your head, your torso, and your genitals. Right. And that 2 and the 6 represent the duality of your fall, which would be the 12 zodiac. 2 times 6 is 12. And that's symbolic of all of the 12 zodiac. We all have all of the 12 zodiac in our head, but we came from one point in there, which is the zodiac sign that we are.
Wow.
But we still have all of the attributes of all of the rest of them in us. So we try to confine ourselves to one attribute when we have all of them. And then when you look at thank you. And when you look at the number 26, that's basically 2 plus 6 is 8. That's also symbolic of duality. And now this is talking about the duality of yourself, and you can't reach cloud 9 until you bring yourself to the point where you stop thinking you are a truth and you start knowing that you are the truth.
Yes.
You have to start having knowledge of self and then believe in yourself, because nothing or no one else is going to believe in you more than you.
Yes.
But that was all I wanted to call in and mention on that one. We are God. Period.
Ashe.
As an individual and collectively as a whole.
Ashe. We are God. I love that.
Tep, I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to thank you all for this show. This is a beautiful show. A lot of people touch my heart with their expressions, you know. I'm glad to be
Thanks for calling in. I was blessed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hotep. Sister Goddess Kateria knows, and Brother God Grasshop. First, let me say thank you to all of our callers that are calling in, because every piece of the puzzle is being added to the conversation. We are co-creating this show together, and it is really elevating my consciousness completely. I know that we've all been feeling that shift. All of us have been witnessing changes in our experience, and let us all be a confirmation to each other that we are creating heaven on earth, and that we are the heaven that is on earth. Ashe. I'm not sure if did I get to ask you, Kateria, Goddess Kateria, what do you think, how do we tap into our God consciousness? What are some of the ways that you are able to tap into your abilities?
Well, Goddess Toshana, that is a divine question. There's so many avenues, so many ways, and I call them vague, to tap into our God consciousness. And you see people tapping into their God consciousness unconsciously, doing things. When we speak of God, and I know Brother Grasshopper was going to really touch on this, when we speak of God, God as Ter, which is nature, we do things of nature, things that are natural unto ourselves. We ascend into a higher God consciousness, and we tap more into our Godship within. So wearing our hair natural, doing things that are natural, eating natural foods, all of these things can ascend us into our Godship. And but there are different techniques you can utilize. Like my main technique, what I love to use the most, is the lineup of the heavens and its influence on our beings and our abilities, which is also known as astrology and or cosmophysics. Shout out to Ra-Aku, the cosmophysician. But so just knowing oneself, knowing the time you were born, where you were born, tracing that back, aligning the heavens and its influence onto your being allows you to see more into God's makeup for you and what you had planned for yourself before you came to this plane. But there are other avenues daily, aside from astrology, that you could utilize to tap more into your Godship. One thing I like to do, or a few things that I like to do, are I like to wake up early, like around 6 a.m., do some stretching, some yoga, some affirmations, meditations. I listen to healthy music. I watch my consumption as far as what I'm consuming into my eyes, my ears, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and, of course, what I'm eating. I don't put poisonous ingredients into my body because that's going to poison my mental and my temple, and this is a temple of God. Poison in the temple of God is going to distort the God's messages. So I like to go outside. I sit in the sun. I absorb the sun, which is, the light of the world, which is the Son of God. I absorb his energy, Amun-Ra, and bring it into my being, receive messages I download. And I stand in the dirt sometimes or in the grass, barefooted to get more connected into nature. I did this early day. And people say, oh, wow, God is Kateri, you're so beautiful. And it's like, I don't just put makeup on my face or do things externally. I do things from the inside out in order to dress myself in the spirit, because beauty really comes from within. And so I'll read an excerpt. I would read an excerpt from one of my favorite books, and while I'm sitting in the sun, to download more information from the text that I'm reading. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to read, because when I'm reading, I look at all of us as we are all God, because I am totally a believer, and I am under the understanding of oneness. So I like to read books because these books, these certain texts that I read, are messages from the great Creator, written from our fellow God or human being, whatever you want to go by. And so when I read these texts, I'm just getting another message from God, downloading it into my being. Then, like I said, what I eat, detoxing, eating a vegan diet, eating raw fruits and vegetables, those are all messages from God, because when you're eating raw fruits and vegetables, they're in their highest form. They're in their most potent state. They are not altered. They are not cooked where all of the ingredients and enzymes and nutrients are killed out of them. They are full and they are complete, and they're full and they're complete exactly how God intended for them to be and how they were made, so they're not distorted. So I'm downloading that information into my being, and so those are just a few of the ways that I ascend more into my God consciousness, but I also give myself the affirmations of truth that I am God, and the great Goddess has returned, and I fill myself with that energy every day and that memory. But, going to your house, Sister Quaylee, speaking with you, I always get electrified. I always get electrified by your energy when we build together, and and just connecting, doing my purpose. I can say that. Number one, doing my purpose of what I've been told to do, what I know that I came here to do, and that's to unite our people, bring them together, bring all humanity together under unity, but building a foundation of love, a true foundation of love. It does not matter what you know and what she knows and what he knows and what these people did and what that person did. We need to build a common ground foundation of love, and that is what I'm here to establish within all of us, for all of us. We need to just love each other, forget everything else, and just have that love. And that's why I'm here to, assist in bringing our people together. So when I'm really doing my purpose and living that purpose and being passionate about that purpose, I'm doing the work of God. So God naturally downloads all of the information that I need within me, and I just create the reality that I intended for myself anyhow.
That is profound. I think what you just said, too, was so amazing, doing your purpose. That is literally, to me, that is the key to tapping into your God consciousness, is living out your purpose and knowing what your purpose is. Because when you're living your purpose, you're in your full zone. You are literally God in motion. You are being God. You are actually being that energy. I feel the same way whenever I'm teaching, whenever I'm doing the radio show. That is my zone right there. That's when I feel the tingly, elevated, in my zone. I feel like the world is just, shaping into whatever the world, reality I would like it to be. It's a beautiful feeling when we are living out our purpose. I have another question for you guys, and, we've talked about it on several occasions, and I've witnessed it, and I'm not sure about our callers and our listeners and where everyone is with this, but understanding, do you believe or do you know that you have the ability to create in each other's lives? And I ask that question before you guys answer it. I ask that question because a lot of times when we're dealing with awakenings and we're dealing with the shift of consciousness and we see our people who have yet to tap into that vibration, or they're still kind of confused on it, and we kind of, they're not going to get it, they're forever lost, or we say these things about them, and we put these, I call them, like you said last night, curses on them, and we being God, and understand the power of our own tongue. Do you honestly know that you have this ability to shift consciousness for them also? Do you believe or know that you can create in their existence as well as your own existence? I'll let God King Grasshopper, you go first on that one. What do you think? Do you think you have the ability to shift consciousness for others, or to create or manifest things in their existence? Or do why do you think that we may feel a little nervous about that? Why do you think that we may not think we have that ability, or do we have that ability?
All right, well, I'll answer the last end of your question first, about people might be nervous about those who put out there that they can control other people's destiny. To be honest with you, speaking in the first person, I used to take exception with that. When people say they can create my own reality, being buried under the ignorance of white so-called supremacy, not really being thorough in my race consciousness, I would take issue when someone said I'm creating your own reality, because, no, I'm creating my own reality, I am the person that making things happen. I manifested true greatness. I mastered myself. The key word or letter is I. And in the process of a lot of our people who've been, once again, beaten down and kind of suppressed and taken away from their right frame of thinking as being gods in this physical expression of living, and just being in control of their own destiny with slavery, a lot of our brothers and sisters being behind them gates, the penitentiaries, it's like they're fighting to have some independence, like we going to be in control of our destiny. We going to be in control, or they are going to be in control of the outcome of how their life is going to be portrayed. So when, let's answer your question in the first person, the end of your question, when people get a little offended by those who say I can control your life, first of all, they might not be astute or educated on the true dynamics of spirituality and the true dynamics of really having someone to manifest great things for you. But I can see why some people might have a hesitancy, because it's been an upward battle to try to take and have control of your own reality, and they're just trying to, once again, manifest great things and maximize their potential in this physical expression living. So I'll answer tell Lena that question, and you can continue on, and the material might want to chime in on that.
I love that. I know that we are nervous about those who give us the evil eye, or those that have negative energy being put on us, but I honestly have come to understand in my own life experience is that when you reach a certain vibration, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because you are creating your own reality, but we are also co-creators. The reason why I even asked the question, and I'm going to share one story with you, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Goddess Kateria, is that when I first started going through my awakening, I had a car breakdown, and I was on a freeway, and I called my Jegna, who was one of my teachers who came into my life experience to show me how this works. I called her, and I told her my car was broken down. I immediately, she didn't show any nervousness. She was happy. She had been studying this for over 20 years. So after I spoke with her, 4 weeks had went by. I had to, borrow cars, walk, take the bus. And one day I got a flyer in the mail. She called me up. She got the flyer too, and she said, they're doing this competition at the car dealership, a contest, and we're going to go get your car. You can win a car. Now, no one ever responds to those flyers. You always think those are bogus. Those aren't real. But we did. We went down there. We went there late. As we were driving there, the spirit came to me and told me, you know what, go straight for the Daewoo, and the car was a Daewoo. We, at the time, didn't know which car they were going to pull out, but the spirit said, go straight for the Daewoo. When I got to the place, I did the competition. To make a long story short, within 30 minutes, I was sitting in a brand-new Daewoo, and the car was mine, and I won it. When we drove home to her house, she takes me in her house, and she says, let me show you something. I go into her kitchen with her. She pulled out a picture of a 4-door silver sedan where she had wrote my name on it and put paid in full. She cut that picture out 4 weeks prior when I called her on the freeway and told her my car had broken down. That was when I first realized the power we have in each other's lives. And Goddess Kateria knows also that I recently, last year I believe, I manifested a few Netarus, which are deities or dolls or statues, whatever you want to think, that are identical to her and her sister. And the way that came about was about a year before that, I secretly decided that I was going to deify Kateria and her sister as the gods of the youth. They were doing so much in the community, young, very, very inspired young ladies. They were so enlightened. And I said, I'm going to deify them only in my own mind. This was in my own little reality, that they're the gods of the youth. A year later, I received these Netarus with their little deities, little dolls. And Kateria, you are my witness. Are they not identical to you and your sister?
They are completely identical, sis. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, they have the jewelry that her sister's wearing. They have Kateria's hair. I mean, they're identical. So when that happened, and this literally logic cannot explain it, I started to really wonder, I started to really understand, well, wow, what abilities do we really have? We're calling ourselves gods. We're saying we have the ability to create our reality, but do you have the ability to create in other people's reality? So, Sister Goddess Kateria, I'm going to ask you that question. Do you have the ability to create in someone else's reality?
Yes, I do. I do know that you have the ability to create in others' realities, and what is so important about this is, my story. What I want to share is, I know that others are able to create within, because just off of the Netarus that you received, based on my sister and I, the one that you received that is me happens to be a Barbie doll. And it is identical to me, my hair, my body, my face, my skin color, shape of my eyes, everything, lips, everything, feet. She got to do more squats, but it is identical. It is identical to me, myself. And after you received it, I'm getting, different comments about being, a conscious Barbie or whatnot, or being a conscious model. And this Netaru happens to be in the form of a Barbie doll, or, a form of a doll. And then recently, a few months ago, a friend of mine sent me a picture of a Barbie doll that looks exactly like me, to the point where it's like, did they actually literally make a Barbie doll after me? I posted it on my cover page on Facebook.
I've seen it.
A picture of me next to the Barbie, yeah. So, and I know a lot of people are using some of my pictures for different things and stuff like that. So, and I'm getting more into modeling and things of that nature, but it's strictly for our people, so we can start changing the images that we see of our people in the media. But as far as other influences I've had in my own life, I've had negative things happen to me based on others' energy. And this is when I wasn't really fully aware of others' energies influence in my life, like after I did the Real Family Reunion, Return of the Gods. And during that event, I received a lot of hateful jealousy energy from a lot of our sisters and our brothers. And with that being said, I ended up wiped out. My energy was sucked and drained. I ended up doubting myself, and I didn't have such a positive outcome financially at the end of the event, or energy-wise. I ended up really sick, going back and forth to the hospital, trying to figure out what was wrong with me. It felt as though someone put a hex out on me. And so, but this is why we have certain tools to protect ourselves, and it's very important, it's very dire that we do protection rituals upon our beings to protect these other entities from coming out and attacking us, It's important to wear your black crystals and to do certain things so others' influences cannot harm you, and to do a ritual to protect your home and your family, because others' energies can affect you. And so that's just really important. And Another thing is to go about life instead of creating people of hate. And I understand why I had certain haters. I still was largely dealing with my ego, which I have fully tamed at this time. I am coming forward as a humble person. So when you're dealing with ego or and things of that nature, that is when your shield is broken and others are able to influence your life.
Right.
You're dealing with this human energy anyhow. So when you ascend to a higher level of existence, others' energies can't affect you, but you should still always protect yourself. And what I want to say is, of course, actually to your question, of course we can be an influence in others' lives and others can be an influence in our life, because when you think about it, this is a system called oneness. I am not different from you. You are not different from me. We are all one body just manifested in different forms. And this is how the law of karma works. If I do wrong unto another person, yes, it comes back to me, because guess what? That person is an extension of myself. So when you throw the pebble into the pond, those ripples go out, and then those ripples come right back unto you, because we are the same being. We are all connected to each other, just manifested in different formations. When you really think about it, if you really are the creator, are you going to come in one body? No, you're going to come in many different formations, many different abilities, many different looks, attitudes, personalities, gifts, and abilities. And we are all connected to each other. So if you do wrong unto another person, it's going to come back to you, because guess what? That person is you. And yes, others have an influence and an effect in your life. As long as you are still dwelling on your lower ego, protect thyself.
I love what you just said about the ego, and like you said, that does break it down, because when you start getting, and it happens every time, and I know all of us who are listening know, because whenever you start getting into your ego self, or you let your lower self take over, you start getting competitive, or you start feeling like, oh, everyone's hating on me, and you get into the I, me mentality, I. You experience something negative to go along with that, something to feed that ego the energy that it wants. It happens every time. So when you do center yourself, and one of the ways that I do it is through meditation, centering yourself and tapping into your higher self, realizing, like you said, the oneness that you have with everybody, wanting the best for them as you want the best for yourself. Instead of judging each other, holding each other in a higher vibration. One of the things I try to make a habit of is visualizing what it would look like in this world if everyone was living their dreams. Seeing everyone as their higher self versus their lower self, not picking out, oh, that person did this and that person did that, just but seeing who they really truly are from their higher self, from a higher self. But and that does shield you. It really does. It does put you in a state of consciousness where you're not being attacked. You're in the zone. You're understanding. And then even when people come with lower energy, you can see through it and you understand it. You're more I don't want to say welcoming to it, but you can understand it. You can understand what they're going through and why they're going through it. You're not going, oh my God, why are they acting that way? You're understanding it. And the whole reason why I'm asking this question is because all of us, everyone who's called in, everyone who's listening, who says, I am God, I am creating this reality, if we are truly God and we are truly creating our reality, we need to hold our brothers and sisters in their highest state. We can create heaven on earth. We are floating on a ball in the middle of nowhere. We are floating on a ball in the middle of nowhere. When we talk about a heaven in the sky, we are the heaven in the sky. We are here to manifest and create it. So when we give energy to, oh, they're not going to get it, look at them, and when we do that, we are the creators. We are feeding that energy. We are helping manifest more of that energy. So I challenge all of us, I ask all of us in a most humbling way to hold our brother and sister in their highest light, to decide today that you are God, that you are creating, and that your job here is to create heaven on earth. One of the things that we have been taught, in our African customs is when a baby is born, they ask that baby, are you the one? So I want to ask everyone that golden question, are you the one? Are you the one that can change reality for the world? Are you the one that can hold the thought long enough to shift consciousness for everyone? And you can do that. You can do that. And yes, we are still all responsible shifting our own consciousness. But if you hold a light out, if you are light, just like we all know that when we first came into consciousness, we weren't always this way. Many of us, went through years of drama and crazy stuff before we realized we were creating it. So
right.
The same thing is happening. The same thing's happening with our brothers and sisters. The same thing is happening. And so you have to be, like you said, we are one with that. So we have to be, surrender ourselves and say, hey, I'm not going to judge you. I know that I went through that too. I know that I wasn't always meditating and eating right and knowing I was God, So I challenge everyone. I love everyone to such a degree that I know that we do have that ability. I know that if we all decide, I'm going to visualize and see this world the way that it could be. I'm going to visualize and feed my energy and tell my creations, because I'm the creator, that no, we are living heaven on earth, and that all of our people are awakening. And just like we all have awakened, we will start to see more of that. Like I know you have noticed, just like I have, more of our sisters are going natural. There's more of us going vegan. There's more of us, it's happening more and more. Like I said, 10 years ago, I didn't know anyone, and now I know a whole community of people. So all I can say when I think about that is, wow, what's gonna be here in 10 more years? What will it look like in 10 more years from now? You know what I'm saying? What will it be? I refuse to give in to, it's going to be this horrible world. No, it's not, because if that's the case, I wouldn't be here. If that's the case, I wouldn't have been here. So I just think that we have to take that on, that mentality. We have to see that we are creating in each other's reality. And the thoughts that we're holding, I believe I watched something recently, and it was talking about, and I think we talked about it, the water molecules, and how they did a test. I think it was a Japanese guy did a test on water, and they thought negative thoughts about the water, and they visualized negative thoughts about the water, and the water turned into pus. And when they visualized positive thoughts about the water and they prayed over the water, the molecules turned into like crystal-like shape. Think about us being water. The majority of our body is made of water. What are our negative thoughts doing to each other? What's happening? So, and what could our positive thoughts do for each other? I would rather know that you're sitting over there thinking high thoughts of me, seeing me in my higher state. That would definitely help shift my consciousness. And all of you that do know, you do have the ability to help those who are blind. Do not give up on them. Do not give up on them. Do not say, well, I figured it out, so, oh, well, you ain't going to get it. You have the ability to help those who don't know by you representing your Godship, by you being a reflection of God in the flesh for them. They will be naturally drawn to you. And you are the reason why you have awakened is so that it's like playing freeze tag, so that you awaken others. Well, I just wanted to share that. But, another question that I wanted to ask you, and Brother King, God King Grasshopper, you can chime in on this. Where do you see us going? Do you see us manifesting a world of heaven? You know what I'm saying? Do you think this is possible, or do you think this is some type of high hope?
Well, yes, I definitely think it's possible. And I think we're moving in the right direction. Like you and Kateria touched on, that you're seeing more people go natural, you're seeing more people eat more healthy, and more people get more spiritually in tune with that one sovereign spirit. So I definitely see it. I see it primarily with the youngsters, the youth. They're starting to become awakened every day, awakened at a rapid pace, and I see the future as being, or the future as far as the youth, the sky being the limit, and even beyond that. So I definitely see a progressiveness in the conscious movement of us recognizing we God and God.
I say to that for real. And you, Sister Goddess, what do you see for our future?
I see in our future, in our very near future, this whole world turning into a paradise. That paradise that all of us see way in the back of our heads, the back of our minds, where We have so many trees. Our houses, instead of just being squared or circled to bring forth more energy, the shape of the great goddess, Mama Amma. And I see more people coming together, ascending into their natural selves, their natural way of thought, as just not their natural physically, but their natural way of thought. I see more acceptance of one another. I see us, instead of dwelling on the negative traits about somebody like, have you tasted her spaghetti? Her spaghetti nasty as fuck. Don't eat that shit. Instead of dwelling on somebody's negative things that they don't do very well, we're going to start looking at the positive. Like, don't think about her spaghetti. Look at those beautiful blankets that she makes. And I see more of us going into, strengthening our strengths and, tightening up and working on our weaknesses and allowing them to build us. I see this world turning into a complete paradise. It's not because it's something that I think or something that I just see or something that I believe. It's something that I know. This is the age of Aquarius, right, and we are ascending into 2,160 years of Aquarius, along with a 12,000-year cycle of paradise given unto us from the Great Mother. It is her time, and her energy is all about paradise, love, peace, bliss, and pure joy and happiness. So all those things of peace, bliss, and paradise that you see in the back of your mind, that will be bliss upon this planet.
Ashe. I accept that 100%. I truly accept that, and I love that because I know that many of us, when we went through our awakenings, I don't believe I was woken up just so that I would go back to sleep. You know what I mean? I believe that I was woken up so that I could live paradise on earth, so that I could be a creator and manifester of heaven on earth. Right here, right now, we are not learning these tools and these techniques to manifesting things and to creating. If it was only just to manifest a house or, material wealth. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to have material wealth, but it's not just so you can manifest a brand new car for yourself. Here we are in the situation that we are in as a people, becoming awakened. The sleeping giants are waking up, and that's because we are here to do something very powerful. Before we get off, I wanted to tell everyone there's a documentary called The Africans in Asia, and there was a prophecy about the African Americans who are here that they call them the Nagas, Nagas, and there's a prophecy on the walls of China, and the prophecy basically states that we were going to go through slavery, and this was 1,000 years before slavery had taken place, that we would go through slavery and we would go through certain situations, but that we would go through an awakening, specifically the people right here, specifically the African Americans, the children of the slaves. Specifically, we're going to go through an awakening, and we were basically the chosen ones that are going to change consciousness for the entire world. I believe that, and I know that to be true because it's happening, and it's happening on such a fast pace. I'm meeting people daily that are going through this awakening, and so I want us to hold that energy and know that this is our time, that we are here and we are gods, and we are here to change this existence and to create a paradise right here on earth. So I love you, family. I love everyone who called in, who tuned in with us today. I want us to all take this energy throughout the week with us. When you're out there, understand that you're manifesting reality not only for you, but for the others who are around you. You are an energy force for everyone, just as a true God would be. We are going to get ready. We have about 5 more minutes on the show. You guys want to speak on the shout-out, to the Black Family Reunion. God King, I know you have an event this weekend, so you guys can go ahead and shout out your events. For the last 5 minutes, Goddess Kateria, did you want to shout out the Black Family Reunion? Goddess Kateria? God King Grasshopper, why don't you shout out your event?
All right, next Saturday, June 14th, we will be honoring Tupac's 43rd anniversary of his birth. This is the 5th year we have been doing this in the greater Los Angeles area. The event will be taking place at Caras Unity Center of African Spiritual Science. The address is 7825 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90047. The start time is 5:30 p.m. We ask you to be there promptly. We're going to have top-notch talent. We're going to have some of the most profound poets. We're going to have some of the most intellectual scholars. We're going to have some youth conducting libation. And we're going to have recorded interview or speech of the man himself, Tupac Omar Shakur. I advise that you bring the youth out, but also bring out the elders, because some elders have been posing the question, why are we honoring Tupac Omar Shakur's solar return? Like we're putting him up there with a Dr. King and Malcolm X. So if you come out there, we'll give you the reasons why we are honoring Tupac Omar Shakur's 43rd solar return, because Tupac was much more than an MC, actor, or poet. He was a very sound activist. So come on out. It's a free event next Saturday, June 14th, in the greater Los Angeles area at Craft English Center of African Spiritual Science. Thank you.
All right. Indeed. And Goddess Kateria, thank you and welcome back. Shout out that Black Family Reunion. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes, we have the Black Family Reunion taking place, you guys. Fam, listen up. It is the day after July the 4th, July 5th, Saturday at Pier Blossom Park in the Pier Blossom area. That is 1 hour north of Los Angeles. Google it, MapQuest it. Do what you got to do. Get connected to myself or Queen Quay Lee, Coach Shonda Jones on Facebook if you want more information. We already have a full list of entertainers, performers, singers, dancers, MCs. It's going to be a live event, a huge event for our family, an event for the youth as well. And I got to tell you, be prepared to get wet, because we're going to have a large water fight if you want to get wet. But we'll have just a variety of performers, speaking peace and unity, love, and just different artists getting their names and their word out there and seeing what we do. This is giving us a chance to just come together more as a people. This is not centered around anything but the fact that we know as a people we need unity, we need to come together. And yes, next year we will be having the Real Family Reunion, Return of the Gods, but you got to come to the Black Family Reunion and see what we're doing there. We're bringing all of us together. It is a chance to awaken more of our family, more of our people, and the more of us that is there, the more the vibration and the energy will rise up. You will see me doing my promoting to many different avenues of us. It's not just us with our locks and our unks. It's all of us, and that's what it calls for. That's the time it is for all of us to unite and to rise up to a higher state of vibration.
Ashe, thank you, and thank you, family. Thank you all who called in, and thank you all who are listening. We are about to get out of here. Let us all elevate, take this consciousness to a higher level. There is this saying that once we reach a critical mass, consciousness will shift completely. So I think we are reaching that critical mass. I believe, and not only think or believe, but I know we have reached that critical mass. So prepare for our shift, family. Ashe. I love you, and have an amazing week.
Bliss.